Good morning. Welcome to Old Fine Zen. I am Jan, and it's early, like Sunday morning. So this morning, I'd like to share with you a Zen Christmas story. So if you would please sit back and get comfortable, you can close your eyes if you'd like, or keep them open, whichever feels most comfortable with you. So it's Christmas time, and I thought it would be nice to share with you a little bit about a figure from the Chinese culture. This was back in around the 10th century. There was an old man. He had a big belly and a jovial laugh, always smiling. And he was poor. He traveled around on foot from village to village, and he carried this back sack over his shoulder. And he would beg for food, and people were very kind to him. He was looked upon as being one of the enlightened souls. And what he didn't eat, the leftovers, he'd put in his bag and carry with him as he traveled on foot around. And he also picked up little bits of rubbish along the road, like pieces of rock or pieces of brick, whatever he could find. And the children, when he would come into a village, were always excited to see him because they always were curious about what was in the sack that he carried. And so when there were a lot of children around, he'd open it up and he'd lay everything out on the ground, and he'd sit there and he'd make a big deal out of picking every little thing up and go, "Ooh, what's this?" And the children would be, they were just enamored with him. And he would give them little bits and pieces of what he had. And then he'd travel on. And his Hoti was more remembered and revered for his attitude, for his kindness and his generosity and his laughter. He had this very loud laugh. It was the way of him that everybody loved. His being, not what he gave. What he shared was just himself. He didn't have a lot of any possessions, really. So he and Santa Claus, our Santa Claus, they have a lot in common. They represent jolly good time. They represent kindness and fairness. They represent selflessness. They have a lot in common, and he was kind of their Santa Claus back then. And even though it sounds kind of cheesy, and we always say it, it's not about the gift, it's not about the cost, I think we still get wrapped up in that. We get pulled into it because of our culture, because of advertisements, because of just the way we were brought up. And so I think I want to share that story just to remind us again that it's not how much or how big something is that you give, that if you're jolly, if you're happy, if you're just willing to give of yourself and keep the rest of it small, keep your attention, on the bigger picture. And they even say now, which I thought was kind of cute, that we will never know, but maybe, perhaps, just perhaps, Hoti on his travels traveled far, far away, going north. And along the way, he picked up different elves. And when he got up to the North Pole, he had to dress warmer, so he had to cover his big belly. And maybe he had to grow a big beard because it was so cold. He had to keep his face warm. So you never know. Maybe we have a Zen Santa Claus. So now close your eyes. Relax. Lower your shoulders. Settle in. Take a breath. muscles in your face soften, and I hope you're in a comfortable place where you feel safe and warm. Let your feet and your fingers relax and just breathe for a moment. And let us bring back into our heart the real meaning of Christmas and Santa Claus and Hoti. And let us embody some of those characteristics. Just being jolly. Just being happy that we're alive and with loved ones. No matter where you are or what you're doing. Just to be grateful. Perhaps to be a little bit more like Hoti, who had very little, really, but it was enough. He knew that it was enough. That's what made him happy. Relax into that feeling of knowing enough is enough. We don't need too much more. Breathe, relax. Find a smile tucked away in there somewhere. Christmases come and go, you know, one after the other. The new year will come and go. Let's just live one moment at a time. Let's not rush through it. And if there's someone out there that you want to wish Merry Christmas to, make sure you do that. I know they would love it. I know you would love it. Find a little jolly in your Christmas. Think of Hoti. Thank you for joining me and for really the gift that you give me for just tuning in and sharing your valuable time, because I know how valuable time is. And you give me a little of yours, and that's really enough for me. Thank you. And I will see you before Christmas, I promise. Don't forget Hoti. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.